Let's go. We back, bro. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie. Since I realized, like, since I jumped on and logged into StreamYard and got ready for Wholesale Hardknocks, bro, I don't think I stopped smiling since, bro. I'm happy to be back, dog.
yo, me too, bro. It's lit. I
Yeah,
legitimately missed this shit the past 2 weeks. Me and Daryl been out doing some badass shit, making some badass connections. But that's not an excuse. So what we did is we're like, hey, we're going on a lot of these networking events and everything, and typically they're usually on the weekends. They're usually like Thursday through Sunday, and they're super important for where me and Daryl are at in our process right now.
yeah.
So Wholesale Hard Knocks is also super important to us. So we're like, what do we do? Let's bring it to Wednesday. Wednesday, I think, is a super dope day. It's like, what else is there to do but watch Wholesale Hard Knocks on a Wednesday, bro?
On a Wednesday. Let's get it. I
Let's
love
go.
it, bro. Yo, so you were at an event more recent than me. Um, are you? I know you're in like a super high level, top secret mastermind. You able to talk about some things that you learned, bro?
It's like the Illuminati.
Yeah,
No, I'm playing.
a little bit.
Um, but put it this way: what are you asking about the market?
Just anything, bro. Like we're going into the market today. We're going to talk about like the upcoming market, the changes in the market. But I'm
Mhm.
just curious as to something like your key takeaways from the mastermind that you just left, and then I'll talk about some key takeaways that I got from the mastermind that I went to.
So this was a little bit different. It was a different vibe than normal.
Yeah,
Normally, you go to these masterminds, you go to these real estate events, and it's super geared towards like um, actionable, not actionable, yeah, actionable steps towards the business, like freaking how to convert more, right, or how to pull better data or something like you know what I'm saying, like those things that are going to get your internal business better, right?
yeah.
That's usually what these events are about. Um, However, we opened up the event on a Friday night, and the leaders of the event essentially just got on stage, first dinner. They got super vulnerable, just about their personal life, and it kind of just set the tone for the rest of the weekend. And the topics really were just about like family, um, relationships, like religion, your spiritual stuff, like all the different cups besides business that you need to fill.
Stuff that people don't think about. They don't think
One,
about that we actually need.
exactly. And that kind of set the tone for the rest of like health, like physical health, mental health, like everything. Everything besides business essentially is what we talked about. And then there was obviously you get in the rooms with these people and you start chopping it up about business, and you have those type of conversations. But the overall vibe of the event was relationships, not only just like a wife and husband type of relationship, but just like friendships and mental health, physical health, all that type of stuff, and how it ties into being an entrepreneur and how important it is to have all those cups filled while you're out hustling, making money. And it was good, man. It was like something that I needed in my life. It really it hit home for me. So
I love it.
it was good.
People, I think a lot of times we forget that like it takes multiple cups, right? Me and you had this conversation, right? You need to have multiple cups filled for you to be fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? For you to be on the right track, like just in general, right? It's mind, body, soul. That's three things right there that you need to work on. But people don't talk about like your relationships and your hobbies, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's it's definitely important and good to have those reminders. And that's why we go to these types of events because it's important,
100%.
bro. It's
You
important,
said
bro.
something really important. The three things: mind, body, and soul. It's like you fill up those cups completely, then I don't know. I don't know what a freaking full fulfilled life looks like. I'm not the freaking higher power, but I'll tell you, it sounds pretty freaking good if you fill up
Yeah,
all those three cups. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? However, if your business is crushing it and you're making a lot of money, dude, that's only like a couple drops in every single cup.
for
Like
sure.
yeah, you might put a couple drops in the body cup because you have money to pay for a nice doctor and a nice freaking trainer and stuff like that. You might put a couple cups in the soul thing because you can go to a nice church. You might be able to put down a couple drops for the mind thing because you're connecting with high level people or something. You know what I'm saying? But like, you still need to fill up the cups, not just a couple drops. And business only gives a couple drops in every single cup.
For sure, bro. I love it. I love it. And that's the same thing for like my experience as well. Like the one thing that they like literally tattooed on my brain at Scale and Escape um was just like the aspect of time, bro. Like the time is now. like they literally are talking about like looking up a death calculator, right? Like just on average, how much time we have left as human beings based on like your age, you're male or female, are you healthy, right? Do you smoke, stuff like that, right? They give you a number, a long number
Mm-hmm.
that's literally supposed to be the days that you have left on Earth on average, right? And he's talking about how he wrote that number on his mirror. It's something that he looks at every.
This is 10, right?
This is Ken Clothier. Um, he looks at this mirror every single day, and he subtracts one every day when he wakes up to remind himself, like, yo, I'm that much. I'm a day closer. You know what I'm saying? So the time is now. I have no time to waste. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna be sitting on my phone, consuming content, wasting time, hanging around people that don't fill my cups, right? Doing things, going out, doing stuff that isn't serving my purpose. Right. The time is now. He said, I don't even wear a watch. He said, I got a bracelet that says one thing. The time is now. And he said, that fucker's always right. So that's facts, bro. Like,
Bro.
yeah, bro. And that one thing has just been tattooed in my brain since then. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm not like you were saying, right? Like, we're not perfect yet, right? But now at least we're conscious of the things, right? Like, we're aware that this type of stuff is happening now, right? So now you have the choice where it's like, okay, I can continue to do the same thing that I was doing in the past before I knew this, or I can make a change and I can do something different. I can go another road. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
keep
bro.
going, bro. Keep going to these masterminds. If you guys are watching right now, get into as many events, masterminds, everything is possible, right? Get around the people that are doing things that you want to do and better, right? Like you got to get around like-minded individuals, or you're going to continue to be thinking about thinking like the same people that you grew up with, like just being the same, right? And that's not what you want to be. You're going to elevate.
Yeah, bro. It was a breath of fresh air because I haven't. I think the last event that I went to, I mean, there's a couple events that I'll speak at around my network, right? Like around my market, but
Yeah,
high level events. The last one I went to, I think, was probably like a few months ago. It made me realize I'm like, dude, I need to put this on the schedule for like every other week or something.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Or like every at least once a month or something like
Once a
that.
month,
Because
twice a quarter, like yeah, you need to get out there.
it's also important to find people like yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like find friends like me and Daryll are friends. Like you need to find those people because if not, who you plugging into? Like
Yeah,
literally, me and Daryl after this, depending on what Daryl got going on, but we'll probably have another conversation for like 15, 30, 40 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like every single time after Wholesale Hard Knocks, we're in the background having a conversation like high
a
level.
mastermind.
Literally, that's our mastermind,
Yeah.
right? Like you need that shit, bro.
Bro, literally, I just had we were just on live yesterday, me and Marlon, or 2 days ago, with me and Marlon, and over the weekend, people were out here in Arizona, and we were hanging out right for Pace's event, and the event was over, right? So some of the sub two students wanted to go out, hang out, and get a couple drinks, blah blah blah, right? So we're going, and Marlon's like, he's like on the fence. He like really has to go, really wants to go, but he has some obligations in the morning, right? He
Mhm.
wanted to, yeah, he had some coaching clients. He had to get on the call with them and help them out, right? So he's like, yo, like I really want to come out, like what should I do? I'm like, bro, stay your ass inside and get rest, right? Like we can always
Mm.
go out, go get rest and be on your A game for tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? If you're stuck around people who don't have a growth mindset and don't see the bigger picture, they're gonna drag you to come out and do the wrong thing for you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to change your environment. You got to get new friends. So I tell
Is
everybody about your hometown, bro. Like,
my homie, right? My homie owns a it's it's like a what the hell do I call it? It's like an adaptive fitness business where he helps people with autism um, get coaching and stuff. So he like does business at a high level, right? He's a beast. This is why I hang around him.
right.
He is getting married. Now he has a bachelor party this coming weekend that I've known about for a while. Okay. I'm in a like spot just mentally right now where dude I can't go spend 3 days boozing at a bachelor party.
Oh yeah.
Like
It's a lot.
legit, that would fuck me up right now. I cannot do that shit. Just like I can't, right? And I know that that's what a bachelor party is about. So I had the conversation with him. I'm like, dude, I can't go, bro. Like I love you. You're my homie. But like I really cannot take 3 days out of my life and go booze for 3 days straight right now. Like I can't. I'm just at a
Right.
different spot. Like there's no freaking way. And his response was, I get it. Like, bro, I actually honestly I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? This is why you're my fucking homie. Because
Right.
most people would be salty.
They'd be mad. They'd be
Hmm.
mad, bro, and they'd want to bring you down, and they'll make you feel bad. They'll guilt trip you, right? But when you find friends that are on a higher level, that are actually doing the thing, and it's actually working, right? They
Homeboy's answer actually after that was, you know, I'm kind of jealous because I kind of wish I wasn't going either. I'm like, yo, this is my guy.
That's fire. I love it. But yo, let's get into the market, bro. The
Right.
as
We should just
people
make this shit about what the hell happened the past 2 weeks. But let's get into the freaking market.
the market. Let's get it.
um,
Let's get into the market, baby.
at Scale and Escape, did they go over anything with the market right now?
Um, not much. Not much. They did a little bit,
Mhm.
right? But what Scale and Escape wasn't as geared towards real estate. I mean, they had real estate. People were talking real estate, but it was more like business mindset, advertising, like marketing, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Um, but overall, like we've been, and I don't know, I want to hear your thoughts because I've been going pretty, really conservative, like because I'm in multiple markets, and not all the markets. So like Tampa, I'm not taking as big as a discount. Like Vegas, not taking as big as a discount.
Mhm.
Certain markets that I don't think took as big as a hit, but we're taking 20% off the ARV is like right away, 15 to
Mm.
20% off the ARV right away as we're comping it and coming up with our max allowable offer. We're taking a lot off the top because we don't know what the hell is going on in this market. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So,
interesting. That is super interesting because I was talking about that on my how to wholesale video yesterday on
mhm.
YouTube. I was saying, yeah, we're taking 5% off our ARV, but
Oh,
that's Boston.
right,
Just like you
right,
said, Tampa maybe is 5% for you, or
right.
Vegas is 5% for you. But I do have a decent amount of leads that come nationwide. Like I have a couple in Tennessee right now, Iowa, like these random ass markets, right? And those ones we are being like super conservative. Here's my thought process to it is like, yo, unless I get an absolutely smoking freaking deal, like I'd rather not figure this shit out like thousands of miles away.
Yeah, for sure,
Because I don't have a big buyer pool in that market.
for
Granted, I
sure.
can just go to a dispo wholesaler, but um, I need the deepest discount because I don't know what the hell's going on in that market. In Boston, I can move that shit, you know.
Yeah.
So
So
in
what do you?
Boston,
So let's maybe we should talk about why the market is doing what it's doing.
okay, and then we can get into like kind of what our strategies are.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. So what are your
So
thoughts?
I mean, it's the interest rates, bro. So what's going on is just hedging for inflation, right? We're just trying to compensate for it, right? So interest rates are just rising and rising and rising, right? So interest rates are at what, like 7% now,
Mm-hmm.
which is making it really tough for somebody to afford a property, right? So let's say we buy a house. Let's say it's a house for $400,000, right? Let's say this person's putting 10% down on the house. 2 years ago, 2%, 3% interest rates, right? That monthly payment is 1,300 to like $1,700 at a 3% interest rate. Today, we're at 7. That same interest rate on that same $400,000, well, not the same interest rate, that same uh monthly
Mortgage.
payment on a $400,000 property is $2,700. So it's over at
Damn, bro. That boots some people out, bro.
it's crazy, bro. You know how much so many people, and we're talking everyday working people. We're not talking about multi-millionaires. We're not talking about real estate gurus. We're not talking about these people. We're talking about people who have 9 to 5 jobs who a lot of times are working paycheck to paycheck. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they have some money because they just bought a house for $400,000. But from $1,500 to $2,700 a month, that's a huge
That's
difference.
wild.
It's a huge difference, right? So, in order for that to make sense, in order for a monthly payment to make sense at that interest rate, right? The purchase price needs to come down.
Mm-hmm.
So to get it back to that, let's say that 1,800, right? With the same 10% down. Let's see. The property would need to be sold at $300,000 to
That's
pay 18
a hundred thousand.
$100,000 discount. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why that's why we're seeing this crazy shift, right? And we have no clue what's going on. Every other week, it seems like the the interest rates keep rising, right? So it's scary times right now. Now, I will say it's scary times for certain exit strategies, right? There's certain exit strategies that work all the time, right? And there's certain things that you got to do to make sure that those scarier exit strategies are more safe, right? So like let's just call it out, right? Fix and flipping. It's not impossible, right? Mike, you just made a video today of a flip you're doing right now. It's not
Mm-hmm.
impossible. You can do it, but I bet you got that deal a lot lower than what you would have gotten it a few months ago, right? Like Claudio says, scary times if you're only a wholesaler, right? Because now what you got to do is you need to get these properties at an extremely low rate, low discount that it makes sense regardless, right? That where a buyer can say, okay, I feel comfortable enough to fix this property, put all this money into this property, list it on the market on a market I have no clue what's going to do, and I'm still going to sell this property, right? So buyers are being extremely conservative. I know I'm being extremely conservative.
So I like what you said earlier, right? Well, actually, let's dive into what you were just talking about. One of my homies that's looking to buy a house said the same exact thing. He's like, bro, I wanted to buy a house last year, and I was looking at houses that were like $350,000, right? I now need that house at like 300, 275, around that number, right? In order for that to work for me, as far as like a monthly payment. I'm like, holy crap, that is kind of crazy.
It's crazy.
Um, However, let me rephrase it. Not for it to work for him, but for him to get the same payment. He still would buy that $350,000 property because he can still afford the extra $500, $700 a month.
Yeah.
He's still in that buyer pool, right? So here's what's happening. The buyer pool that was up here. So every market's different. You have to know your market. But for Brockton, the city that I'm in, right? $400 to $500,000 is like the top end for single families. That's like the higher end, right? Once you get in between 300 and 400, that's like the mid range. Doesn't really go below 300. If it does, it's probably like freaking 500 square feet, right? What happened though is the people in the 400 to 500 area that were buying the bigger homes, nicer homes before, they now drop down to this area. You know what I'm saying? So now this area has a really big buyer pool. So our as is novations that we're listing, that we're not putting too much love into, that we're not listing up here, they're freaking going bananas. We listed a novation last week. Within 2 days, had 4 different offers. Already under purchase and sale agreement locked up.
I like it.
You see what I'm saying? But it's in that 300 to 400 range.
Yeah.
So to Daryl's point earlier, Daryl was like, yo, all these markets that I'm not too sure about, I'm getting a super freaking discount. Same here. If I don't really know the area, I'm like, yo, I want that shit freaking 35% ARV. Like something absolutely crazy, because I need to know that I'm going to get this thing off. If it's in my market and I truly understand my market, I know these things. I know this buyer pool is still here. I can do these deals. So that deal that I'm fixing and flipping, Daryl, actually, I didn't get it at a super discount. This is the same price that I would have bought it at 6 months ago. However, the ARV is 375. So I know that thing is going to go quick.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
So it's really, truly understanding your market and your area, because every market right now is being hit different.
And that's why the number one thing, and I was literally just telling somebody this in my virtual office, is find your buyers first.
Yes.
Mike is a buyer. Mike is a cash buyer in the area, right? In his market, right? So if you're a wholesaler in Brockton, that's what it is, right? Brockton.
Yeah.
You come to Mike before you lock something up. And
Right.
you say, is this, what would you buy this at? Mike will tell you what he would buy it at.
Mm-hmm.
It's your job to go get it lower. And that's exactly, bro, what we're doing right now. I have hedge funds and I have buyers in these markets that I'm working at, and I'm going to the hedge fund. I'm saying, hey, what would you buy this for?
Yeah.
Right? They tell me. Luckily, it's a good hedge fund that they actually do that. Not many of them do that, but they said you're the word on the street is you're the kingpin in Brockton, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, that's it.
Claudio's making it hot, yo. You're watching this live.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, and another good thing is that you do have it on a novation as well, right? So you're not paying closing costs. You're on one side of closing costs being paid, so that's or holding costs, right? So that's a plus for you. We're doing a lot more. We're gonna get into a lot more novations as well. Because
yeah, people like I had literally. This is crazy that you're saying this. I literally probably had 5 different people in the past like week or two. Yo, Mike, like, isn't it a bad idea with the interest rates and the way the market's going not to isn't it a bad idea to do novations? I'm like, no. It's actually a better idea. I'd rather do a novation than a fix and flip.
For sure.
You know, I don't have any overhead throughout. I mean, depending on how you structure it, sometimes you have to pay the mortgage during while you have the project. But the one I'm in right now, I'm not paying the mortgage payments. Like, I have no overhead throughout the whole entire project. All I have to do is put like 5 to 10 grand worth of work into it, and I know that it's in that buyer pool that I was talking about.
Yeah, and if let's just say hypothetically speaking, in a make believe world that doesn't happen, right? It doesn't sell for 370. What do you lose? 5 to 10 grand versus you going to get hard money, right? That's going to pay off a property, and now you owe a hard money lender, right? Yeah. Like, and now you're paying money on it. You pay points for that, right?
Now you get your legs chopped off.
Exactly. Oh, like I literally just did. We actually just closed on my first flip ever, right? Triple digit flip.
Congrats, by the way. I wish I had like a Brett Daniels belt. That's freaking bad.
But no, listen. It's not the triple digit you're thinking, and I'm grateful, right? So I don't think I'm complaining. It's literally triple digits. Like our profit was 571.
Yo, that's funny, bro.
It's crazy, right? But we paid off all of our lenders, right? And we lived to fight another day, right? Mm-hmm. But what I learned on that was what really killed that deal was the hard money payments, right? The holding costs and all of our lenders that we had to pay off, right? Like it's insane, bro. Like we had to pay points up front. We had to literally pay off the whole amount to buy the property. Then we had to pay off our lenders to actually do the work, right? Like it ate all of our profit up. When originally this was locked up as a subtail. It was a sub two deal, short term sub two, where I was going to give the seller a little bit up front. We had a year long period, length of term, where I was just going to 12 months just make payments to him. But once I sold it within like those 4 or 5 months, then he would just got paid off.
How
Right.
much would you have made if you did the subtail instead of the fix and flip?
70 grand. Easy. 60 to 70 grand.
Damn.
Easy. Yeah. And it was 1,000% my fault. Right. Like I listened to somebody who told me that if I changed it from a sub two to a cash deal, it was gonna, and it's probably true. They said it was gonna make the stopping the foreclosure a lot easier because it was a probate situation as well. So it was a real headache, right? But I listened to it, I switched it to a cash deal. But what I messed up was when I switched it. Remember, it's give and take, right? I just gave him. I said, here, you do the cat. We can do the cash deal, right? But I didn't ask for a lower price. We just did the cash deal based off the numbers, and I thought that the numbers were good enough to, which they were at the time, right? The numbers were good enough at the time to, we were gonna sell it for, our plan was to sell it for 270, maybe 280, right? And we ended up selling it for 230 because the market just took a shit on us, right? So it is what it is, right? I'm just grateful that we're able to, like I said, pay our lenders back. And live to fight another day. You know what I'm saying? Like I know some people who had to cut checks to sell houses that they're doing flips on in today's market because they didn't buy it low enough. You know what I'm saying? So,
and that's the thing. So if I was just wholesaling, and let's just say I was wholesaling virtually and I didn't have a pulse on the markets, I would 100% do what Daryl's doing. Just go directly to the buyer, go directly to somebody like myself. And most buyers will explain what I just explained to you. Hey, bro, I'm not a buyer for that. Here's why. Because it's in that higher buyer pool, right? And I'm typically seeing right now, like those things aren't trading quickly on the market. But down here, with this buyer pool where people came from up here down here, and there still isn't that much inventory, there's a big buyer pool here. I'll buy that all day if the ARV is right here and the numbers make sense. So I would definitely have the conversation with the people actually buying the deals in that specific market. They have a pulse on everything. It is interesting though, too, the inventory thing. Like, granted, interest rates are going up, but what happens with that? When interest rates go up, people don't want to sell their house because they're like, hey, if I sell my house, I have a freaking 2 or 3% interest rate on it. Why the hell would I sell it right now to go get a new mortgage at 7%? That doesn't make any sense. So the inventory thing is still a problem. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and to challenge that really quick, right? What we've been doing to kind of bring that inventory up a bit, right, is we introduced the fear, right? Like, well, okay, you can wait a few months or a year to sell your house, but what happens if the market just drops and now you just lost all that equity that you've been building up the past 6, 7, 8 years?
Yeah, when it comes to sales, like, I'm fucking hammering that shit.
Hammering it, bro.
Like twisting the knife. Like, yo, you're about to lose $100,000 in the next 6 months if you don't sell this thing right now. You know what I'm saying? And we're like really hammering that. But what I was saying is, like, the market in itself. Like, what is the market thinking? What causes people to sell their property?
Yeah.
Or what causes people not to sell the property? People could not want to sell the property. People could be on the edge of selling their property, and they just won't because they know now if I sell it, I'm going to go get a 7% interest rate.
For sure.
As far as our sellers go, like, our sales team is freaking hammering the market. Like, yo, the market is terrible. I actually have sellers coming back to me that we've been in touch with for the past like 6 months, and I'm like, dude, that number's dead.
Yo, Claudio just said that, bro. Look at the comments. That's crazy.
No, legitimately.
It's crazy. And we're getting the same thing, bro. We're getting the same exact thing. We literally just locked up a deal that we probably got like a 20-30K spread on it, and same thing happened. We made the guy an offer, and he thought he had a better offer. He came back to us. He's like, "Yeah, is your offer still on the table?" We're like, "I mean, we have a offer still on the table, but not that one." And we locked him up at a lower price because it just makes no sense. Like the market is it just shifted. It's crazy. So, what are some strategies that you're implementing right now to get more deals?
Do we give the people this? Do we give the people the sauce?
I think we do, bro.
Do we give the people the
I think
sauce?
we do.
So, literally half of our deals in the past maybe 1 or 2 months, not even half of our deals, half of our freaking money has come from multifamilies between 2 and 3 units, where the seller only owns 1 or 2 multifamilies. Like
Like it.
they're not a big freaking investor that owns like 10 buildings or like whatever. They're just a mom and pop, or they lived in one unit and they ended up leaving into assisted living or something like that. And then the property was vacant or something like that. But essentially, like a landlord that is not a landlord.
Yeah.
That's
Are these less than like 10 units? Or like
yeah, these are 2 to 3 units.
2 to 3 units? Okay. Okay.
Like very like small investment properties that are like mom and pop type investment properties. And here's why. All these fix and flippers, right? They like to make quick cash. And they're people that like to put their money into something and see a decent return, like quickly. So what do they love? They love things like stocks. They love things like crypto. They like things like fix and flips and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? However, all those things like are scaring the shit out of them. One, they lost a shit ton of money in crypto. They lost a shit ton of money in the stock market already. And they're like, dude, I'm liquid now. I have a lot of liquid cash because I took my money out of crypto. I took my money out of stock. These are legitimate conversations that I'm having with buyers. Like I have a lot of liquid cash right now that's not making me any money. All I'm doing is spending it. I'm spending it on BS, right? I'm spending it on clothes. I'm spending it on dinners. I'm spending it on whatever because I see a shit ton of cash in my bank account. I think I'm rich, but I know I just need to get rid of it. So their minds, right? Instead of like their minds aren't super high level, like 10 unit buildings or whatever the case is. Their minds are just like, hey, I've heard of multifamily before. It sounds good. I think, I need to put my money in some sort of long-term play. Let me put my money in like a threeplex.
Yeah.
Because they know they're going to hold onto that for long term, and that they're going to be able to cash flow with the rate the rents are right now. So, dude, our freaking 2 and 3 units are going like, dude, I'm talking like $70,000 assignment fees.
Shit.
Crazy.
That's crazy. And I doubt that you have to do much work to those properties. Well, has it been like pretty big renovations? Or I know you're not doing the renovation, you're wholesaling them, but are they in good shape or what?
They're decent. Like they're not crazy. It depends. Some of them are fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just all. But to your point, like they're not properties that have been sitting there for 20 years or something. They're usually like the last one that we just did. They left there 2 years ago because the homeowner that lived there got old and he needed to move into assisted living, and they kind of just left the property the way that it's at. So they're like 80 years old or something like that, and they just had this 2 or 3 family for a while. But they're not actual investors. They're just like a mom and pop type of thing. Maybe they've been living in this freaking property for years.
They just knew that you're supposed to buy real estate, and they just did it.
Exactly.
They just did it, and they weren't like, they're not taking it serious. They're not like, oh, let me build a real estate empire. They're just like, let me park some of this cash I got so I don't lose it in the bank.
Exactly.
Makes a lot of sense. I like that. We're taking that. We're pulling these lists. If you guys missed that, you just missed some gems. You may want to watch the replay. If you guys just jumped in my Instagram, y'all missed a lot. I'm sorry, not sorry. Jump to the YouTube.
Now, here's what you do. If you just missed that, 1, definitely go back and listen to it again. And then 2, pull the list of anything that's owned between 2 and 4 units in the set. Like you can do this on PropStream. I love PropStream because you can really tweak all the filters. So a seller that's owned a property that is a multifamily property between 2 and 4 units that has only 1 or 2 properties. Like you can do a filter how many properties they own. No more than 2. Because once you get over more than 2, that means they're like they kind of know what they're doing, right? They might not. There's deals in there that people own over more than 2, but I'm just saying where we're seeing all of our activity.
Yeah.
So you pull all that stuff, and then you generate a lead, and then you bring it to JV with Daryll.com or silverhomies.com, and we'll close your lead and we'll make money.
I like it. I like it. That's some sauce, bro. Let me call my integrator. Write that down right now. He about to pull that list for sure. Yo, I'll tell you what we're doing.
Okay.
We're adding a new market of lead generation, a new avenue of lead generation. And that's Asian outreach. We've been doing the past couple of weeks. We just started Asian outreach.
Hold on, before you go, right? The freaking pace, bro, literally started as agent outreach. Like Astro was cool, and then Pace did agent outreach, and now all of a sudden, on our novations, we're getting a shit ton of knucklehead wholesalers, low ball, low ball listings, bro. Like we listed a property for $350,000, and we got no, actually, it's $320,000, and we got an offer at like 220 cash offer.
They're
It's like,
bugging.
but this is a retail property, bro. And then the wholesaler had the nerve to say, okay, well, can you at least counter offer? I
Fuck
told
no.
the realtor, I said, yeah, tell them list price is our counter offer. Things been
Right.
listed for a freaking day.
Now you're tripping. So what we're doing is we're targeting leads that have been on the market for longer than 40, 50 days. Right.
Mm.
These are properties that have been listed for a while. And we're also targeting people who haven't owned the property for too long, and chances are they don't have much equity, right? So now when we give
Mm.
them a cash offer that we know is lower than what they owe, we could tell them, hey, if this cash offer doesn't work for you, let's talk about something creative.
I love that. Yeah,
Possibly
yeah.
about terms, right? And we're getting them on terms because nobody's bringing this up to them, right? A lot of agents, like Claudio said in the comments a little earlier, he said he's running with some realtors who are uneducated in creative finance and they're blocking deals, right? We're coming across that as well, but it's in the follow up, right? Like we're just going to continue to follow up and talk to these agents and get them to understand, right, that they don't have the answers. They don't got the answers, Sway. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we have the answer for them, right? But it's just you got to get it through their mind that this is the only solution. And a lot of agents, people don't think about it, but they have pain too, right? They want to sell this listing.
Oh, get rid of that shit,
They want
bro.
to get rid of it, right? This is on their name. If they don't get rid of it, they look bad, right? So we play onto that as well. We say, well, look, I know you really want to get this thing listed. It's been listed for the past 60 days. I know that doesn't look good on your name, right? I have a solution that can get you paid and can get your seller paid as well. Notice I said you paid because most realtors are greedy. They only care about themselves, right? If you're a realtor and you're in here, I'm
Right
not
now,
sorry. What do you say?
this fix and flip that I'm doing right now is how I got it because the realtor is greedy.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're a realtor and you're in here right now, you're probably not greedy. You're smart. You're an investor as well. But yeah, they only got the answers in 10 years. Facts. So that's what we do, right? And we tell them like, look, you can represent us as well. You can represent the seller. Right? We don't have an agent. Kind of make it more enticing for them to do it. But a lot of times they'll try to be the gatekeeper, right? And they'll say, oh, I don't think my seller is gonna like that. How do you know?
You know what
Right?
I think the problem is? I think that people will talk to agents and they think that because they're an agent, they understand this investing world and they understand like real estate jargon completely and that it's just going to click in their mind.
Yeah.
And they don't articulate and they don't tell stories and they don't like, talk to them like they would talk to a seller. Or maybe they stink at talking to sellers anyway, but they don't articulate the message correctly and it doesn't get them to click.
Yeah.
Because what really should happen is what you're talking about, Daryl. It should click in their mind like, holy crap, now I'm going to be able to get rid of this listing and my seller's gonna freaking love this. I got to relay this message ASAP. And if
Yep.
that's not what they're thinking in their mind, then you did a poor job of communicating.
That's facts. That is 1,000% true, right? And a lot of like when you're talking to realtors, right? It's a little different conversation, right? It's a little different of a conversation, but it's still sales, right? It's still sales at the end of the day. So you need to do things like you said, you know, tell stories, right? Get them involved, get them on your side of the table, right? Get them, paint the picture for them, right? Like you need to do everything that you do for a seller, and get them, but they need to give you this off, that they need to give the offer, right? And I think that's another thing that we don't, that a lot of people miss when they're talking to agents and sellers in general, bro. It's that conviction, right? Like in sales, like you need to know, you need to believe in what you're saying more than anything, right? Like a lot of times people don't believe in the offers that they're giving. They don't believe in the solutions that they're providing. And if you don't believe in what the fuck you're providing, nobody's gonna believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you need to have that conviction, and you need to be able to follow up with these people and just tell these stories over and over and over. Like with these agents, you're gonna have to continue to follow up, right? Because one, not only do they think they know everything, but they don't answer the phone as well. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So like you need to be able to convince them that there's other ways to skin a cat, and you need to get them on the phone at the same time. But when it gets to a point where it's on the market long enough and they're not getting any offers, nobody's reaching out to them, you're gonna end up getting it. Right. You're gonna end up taking it one of these times.
Third party stories is what solves the whole problem.
Yeah. It
Like
really
literally,
does. It
it
really
really
does.
just people to click with it. It's so dope. But so how are you going about like prospecting the real estate agent deals? Like, are you actually physically going on Zillow or something like that? Or are you pulling a list? Like,
You want me to go out all the sauce, bro? Hey man, nah, we're pulling out. We're pulling lists on PropStream.
okay, pulling a list on property, you got it.
Yeah.
Cause do you get to see the listing?
You can put on market, and we can go see the listing on Zillow.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I actually have. So we actually pulled a list. Shout out to Kevin Cho. I call it the Cho list. Um, where we're targeting like VA loans and FHA loans for people
Yeah.
who only own the property for a year, 2 years. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so they have little to no equity, and the property's listed, so they have to sell. A lot of times, these are people going through a divorce or like job relocation, or they're veterans, or they're in the army or something. They got restationed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these are people who need to sell their property fast, but a lot of times they have to spend money. They have to pay to sell their property, right? So we're able to pull that list. I give it to my VAs, um, and they're just hammering the list, calling the list, and we give it to like we have most of our VAs. They really don't have an accent. They're bilingual, right? And but we give it to like our best VAs who are used to having these conversations. You wouldn't even think that they live overseas. You know what I'm saying? Half of them are from the United States, or they lived in the United States for a certain amount of time, right? And they're having these conversations and figuring out what they have. Then we put them in a drip campaign, and after we call about those specific deals, we reach out to these agents 3 times a week, figuring out what leads that what deals do they have? Do they have any pocket listings? Do they have anything they can't sell? Right. And it's just constant follow up with them as well.
The reason why I ask is I don't know. Do you know Cash, the seller finance guy?
I think so.
He's been on a couple of my lives. My
Yeah.
friend
Yeah. Yeah.
guy,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah, he was telling me about a story of how he was getting his sub two deals, and
Mhm.
essentially he would look at the listing. And if you guys are watching and you're about to ask like, what the hell is he talking about? Come to my live with Mike with Cash on Saturday and ask the question because I forget exactly what the word was, but essentially there was some verbiage in the listing that triggered in Mike's mind, hey, this is a flat fee listing from a wholesaler.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple of things like one thing I can remember is don't talk to the seller or something like that. Like he could just tell that it was a virtual wholesaler, right?
Yeah.
Mike ends up going to the house, talking to the seller, and essentially figuring out that she was about to go through foreclosure and the wholesaler had no idea. She didn't pay her mortgage in like 3 months. And the
Wow.
wholesaler didn't know that and he locked it up too high. Mike went to the seller and just said, "Hey, I'm not a buyer for this one, but when this guy doesn't buy it and you're about to get foreclosed on, contact me." Gives him her card. She
Right.
calls him back in like 2 or 3 months. Now, here's what I said to Mike. I'm like, you know what? What? Here's what I would have done, and I respect what he did.
I
Right?
already know what you would have done. I already know what you would have done.
Yeah, I would have contacted the wholesaler
Yeah,
because I know he has 1,000 more of these freaking
exactly.
CRM. You know what I mean? Uh,
Bro.
built that relationship, but
Yes.
essentially that was one form of lead generation that freaking went in my mind. Like, dang, there's a lot of properties that get listed. If you guys don't know what a flat fee listing is, essentially you can pay like 100 or 200 bucks or something like that to put a property on the MLS, and you are the one now that fields the buyers, right? Like you put it on the MLS and you put your phone number in there or something like that, and people start calling you for the showings and everything. And you pay like 100 or 200 bucks to do it. So a lot of wholesalers, instead, like they'll put some verbiage in their contract that states that they can put it on the MLS. They'll put it on the MLS and then field the buyers themselves. So pay 100, 200 bucks, and that's how they wholesale their deals. But yeah, it was just a cool way of. It's not really agent outreach.
It's relationships, bro. It's
Yeah.
it's relationships, right? Like a lot of people don't realize that you can make a lot of money in this business based off just relationships, right?
Mhm.
Like this whole year and a half, I just literally just started a month ago putting money into marketing, bro. Literally, the past
Wow.
9 to 12 months, I
Mhm.
literally have not put a dollar into marketing, and we've been making money, right? You can make a lot of money in this business without paying for marketing. You just need to build relationships, right? Like, so, and I think about it this way, right? Before, I would never imagine me having an agent outreach part of my business, right? But when you really think about it, when you deal with a seller who owns one property, right? That transaction is one time, right? Unless they own a couple properties later, they may call you in the future, one in the blue, like one out of 100 times, you're gonna get that, right?
Mhm.
When you're dealing with the agent and a wholesaler, they come across properties, opportunities every single week. Literally. This is a repeat referral business. This is something where you build a relationship and you eat forever if you keep that relationship right. You close one deal for a wholesaler, the wholesaler will continue to bring you deals, bring you leads, bring you deals, whatever. Right. That's
Mhm.
how it was with me. I closed one deal for one person. They continue to bring me leads. They tell their friends that I can close deals. I tell everybody that I can close deals. They come in, I close a deal for them. They continue to bring me leads. It's simple, right? It's a referral repeat business. So if I talk to an agent, first deal I do with an agent, I guarantee you this agent is going to be like, oh my goodness, this guy just taught me some cool stuff that I can use forever. I just added another tool to my tool belt. So I'm going to call Daryll whenever I come across somebody who has no equity, a property that I can't that I can't sell, or a fix and flip opportunity. Right? Like it only makes sense. Stop being scared to talk to these people and just have these conversations.
I think it's actually not even I think I know it's the way to make the most money in this business. Actually maybe not the most money, but the most volume. But it's definitely how you do the most volume because doing direct to seller at that scale is not ideal. You do not want to run a full direct to seller operation, whether you're sending out mailers or you're cold calling and texting, especially cold calling and texting. You do not want to operate a freaking call center. See what I'm saying? There's people out there that crush it, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's like it's a lot of management to manage all those salespeople, and a lot of shit falls through the
For
cracks.
sure. I was literally just talking about this, right? So we have a pretty big cold call team, like
Mhm.
team of VAs. Um, but here's the thing, I pretty much outsource that, right? Like I want to somebody who already has 20 VAs that are cold calling and texting for him, right? And he has that automated and systematized, right? And
Mhm.
I have my part of the business, the acquisition side. automated and systematized, right? And I came to him and said, "Look, I need more leads. You can provide more leads. Let me give you money. Let me put my money into your conveyor belt and just pump me out some lead, right?" So yes, you feel me? Yeah, like I lost my train of thought a little bit, but
No,
it's
Daryll didn't want to manage a whole entire freaking
exactly,
team. His
exactly. I didn't want to, right?
I
And I
was
was
talking
just
about.
thinking,
Go
my
ahead.
bad, not my bad. You brought me back to my train of thought. But
Mhm.
on my actual acquisitions team, right, there was a point where I probably had like 10 to 12 people on my team. And I thought that was cool because I had so many people on my team. And you remember this, right? I used to come to you and talk to you about this shit. Like, I used to think it was so cool to have so many people on my team. But when I realized, like, yo, this shit is actually draining me because I may have 12 people on my team, but four of them are the only ones that are consistently making calls every single day.
Yeah, one of them's calling for maybe an hour a day or something.
Exactly. So it got to a point where I'm managing all these freaking people and only a couple of them are producing. Once I cut those cancers out, right? That's what it does. And that's what we talk about in like, so my coaches always used to talk about in football, right? Like you have one cancerous person on your team, one bad apple, they're gonna infect other people, right? Like other
Mhm.
people get close to that person and they're like, oh, this is maybe how I should act too, right? Because Mike is only making 20 calls a day. I'm making 100 calls a day. Why should I do that? I should be like Mike. Only make 20 calls a day. I'm still here, right? He's not going to do anything. So you have one
Only
bad
as good as the weakest link.
exactly. Exactly, right? So now my team's at like I'm at like 7, 8, right? And it's still a good amount, but now this is 7 or 8 people who are doing this full time who are coming to coming to the meetings on time, right? They're doing the training, right? And they're still making their calls. They want to get better. They're grateful for the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And they're crushing it, right? Like we're crushing it right now. This is the most volume that I've been having so far as a wholesale business, having a wholesale business.
Yeah, we're literally adding two more people, one admin and one more cold caller and texter, and then we will not scale from there.
Yeah,
As far as like lead generation goes and volume, we might add to the acquisitions team because we're getting more JV leads, and maybe a couple more lead managers. But other than that, as far as cold calls and texters, like reaching out directly to sellers, we will not scale more than that. Doesn't make any sense to.
it doesn't, bro. Like so, back when because earlier this year, um, we did try, and let me clarify. Let me go back on what I said because I said I wasn't paying for any marketing. Um, Around like the middle of earlier this year, I brought on a partner, and he had cold callers, and he was paying for the marketing for that side of things, right? So we tried it, right, and we were bringing on cold callers. One, we started off with two, right? They're doing their thing. Next thing you know, I blink, bro, and we are at like 7 or 8, right?
Mhm.
And now we're at a point where okay, we closed one deal with two, right? And then we think that's okay. We think that that's good, so we just added all these other people on, thinking that okay, we got one with two, maybe we'll get 5 in a month with 7, right? Complete opposite. It was the complete opposite. Literally, we
Literally.
we scaled way too fast without having our systems in place, our operations in place, without being able to prove that we couldn't handle more than what we were doing right now, right? Like it's crazy. It's crazy. So we had to literally scale back, take a step back, and I had to make the executive decision and say no more cold calling. We're hemorrhaging money right now,
You
right?
know
And cut
what's actually funny?
down.
I remember starting out, and I used to talk to people that were like at our level that we're at right now. And I remember, bro, everybody, like 9 out of 10 investors that I talked to that were at the same level that me and Daryl are at right now when I was first starting, they all said the same shit. I tried scaling way too quick. And what am I like? I'm like the freaking guy that needs to put his hand on the stove to get burned.
We
Because
all are, bro.
I was like, fuck that. I'm trying to
Yeah.
go big.
I'm not average. I'm not like you. Bro,
Yeah.
that goes through my mind like every day.
It's a badass mindset to have, but at the end of the day, you end up burning your hand. So
Yeah.
I did the same thing, bro. I scaled up without an integrator, without anything. I didn't really know anything about this business. All I knew was I was a freaking hustler. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get as many leads as possible. I'm gonna close as much shit as possible by my damn self. what happened. I was not able to keep up with everything. So you're 100% right. I was having a conversation with somebody earlier, and he was essentially saying, let me think about it exactly what he was saying. He was like, there's no reason to scale to that point in direct to seller or whatever the case is, because once you scale your direct to seller to a certain point, all the other tables get filled. Like, you only have to see, it's like your heartbeat, right? Like, you need your heartbeat, but once you get your heartbeat to a certain point, now you're able to work on your freaking biceps and your freaking abs and all these things. You know what I'm saying? So
Makes
it's like,
sense.
get your direct to seller and wholesale business just to a certain point that it's a strong freaking heartbeat. And most importantly, it's a consistent heartbeat, because an irregular heartbeat that might sound good, like AKA $1 million a month wholesale business, sounds cool, right? But at the end of the day, it's like irregular. Sometimes you're at 1 million, sometimes you're at 500,000, like whatever the case is, because it's so volatile, because there's so many different people involved.
Yeah,
Why not have a consistent heartbeat? That way you can go get freaking jacked. You know what I'm
for sure.
saying? Go get your biceps right and your abs right and all the things.
For sure, bro. And especially in markets like this, right? And it's important to notice like where you're at. Like I was just at a mini mastermind, right? Like we talk about the power of proximity, right? Like I got invited to a couple weeks ago. I got invited to go to a mini mastermind. That's why I love Phoenix, bro. Literally had a mini mastermind with some of the top like fix and flippers in the market at freaking 7 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday, right? Like just it's fire, bro. Like just sitting there talking about like what everybody's doing, how are they adjusting to the market, right? And you have guys who are literally, and this is what they said, they're like, yo, like we're used to making 300K, 400K, 500K a month, right? Now that this market is turning down and we're like really unsure about what's going on, we're just trying to figure out how do we get 80,000, right? How do we get 80,000 this month? How do we
Mm.
get 90,000 this month, right? And how the analogy that he used was, he said, imagine you're in traffic, right? And you're sitting in bumper to bumper traffic, right? And there's a point where you're just stagnant, right? You're just sitting there waiting for the opportunity to go, right? Waiting for an opportunity for you to get into the left lane, move up a little bit, right? And just slowly creep up until now everything's clear, right? Now I can see in front of me and I can drive. I can put my pedal on the gas, my foot on the gas a little bit more.
Mm.
Right? And you're saying that like that's where we're at right now, where we need to just slow down a little bit, right? If you're putting a whole lot of marketing money into some markets and you're not too sure about this market, maybe slow it down a little bit. That may be the safe thing to do. Find some other ways to bring in leads that's not going to cost you as much money, right? And fill the market.
Meanwhile, me and Daryll are hanging out in the HOV lane.
Right.
Like,
Right. And that's what I told them. That bro, that's literally what I told them when we were there. And like they're all agreeing, right? They're like, yeah, like everybody, like we're slowing down, we're slowing down. I was like, damn, you guys kind of making me feel bad a little bit because I doubled down.
I'm ramping the fuck up, dog.
I
You know what I'm
doubled
saying?
down,
Like,
right? And I
legit.
told them I
Like,
understand.
dude, I've made more money in the past month or 2 months when this quote unquote market shit was going than I ever freaking made in my life.
I
And
agree.
I'm on pace to make more money than I ever made in my freaking life towards
I
the end of
agree.
the year.
Same. And
While
let me
everybody else is bitching about the freaking market, like we're out here just getting deals done.
bro, let me tell you exactly what I told them too, because I'm 1,000% on your side, right? And what I said was I'm doubling down, right? I said I understand the market's changing, but what's that mean? I just need to get better at sales. That's all that means. I need to
Mm.
get my team better at sales, and we need to get properties at a lower price. We need to get properties at a bigger discount. We need to pull some more tools out of our tool belt and get some better terms on properties, right? That's all that means. I'm not slowing down shit. We're just getting our number. We're just going lower on our numbers. That's all that is.
Yeah.
right? And we're finding other avenues, right? I'm bringing on people to reach out to agents now
Mm-hmm.
and literally have a whole nother avenue of leads, right? So that I'm not slowing shit down. I'm not
Facts.
slowing anything down, bro.
My business
Like,
partner said something interesting today. He's like, dude, there's a couple wholesalers up here that do like close to the same amount of volume as us, maybe a little bit more. And they literally spend like almost 10 times the amount of money in marketing.
yeah,
Legitimately. Like I would say, let me do the math really quick. I'm going to tell you how many times. Um, a little bit over 7 times more money than us in marketing, and they're doing maybe 2 more deals than us a month, and they're spending 7 times more money than us.
yeah.
My business partner was like, Mike, that's why I told you no, because I'm the guy in our business that's like,
Spend
I
more money.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, we just gotta get bigger. We gotta spend more money. We gotta do the
Right,
things, right? He's like, no, Mike, chill. Because when shit like this happens, we're gonna be okay. We're squeezing the shit out of our CRM. We're squeezing the shit out of all of our prospects. Like our team is squeezing everything. We're
bro.
squeezing our team for all the deals that we're getting. Like and all these companies that have a bunch of overhead or they have a bunch of employees or something like that, it's harder to squeeze everything because there's just too much manpower. You see what I
Yeah.
mean?
Bro,
But
I'm having a problem. I need some more private money because we're buying so many deals at this point, bro. Like, so fuck
likewise,
that, bro. Like,
likewise.
I literally just like before we got in here, Nick had just got off the phone with the tenant that we're buying the property sub to. We're giving the tenant cash for keys, but we're not closing until the tenant's out, right? And he said the date. He was like, the tenant was like, "Yeah, I'll be out on Monday." Blah blah blah. I'm like, hold up. So we're closing on Monday. Let me go get some money, bro. I need to get some more money. Like, what's going
Word.
on?
Somebody
So
got some money for you, bro.
yeah, bro. So like I really want to just end it on this. Like I kind of want to just like, guys, do not get scared. Like, yes, these are uncertain times, right? But the show got to go on, right? You just need to adjust. There's you just need to pivot, and it comes back to what we were talking about in the beginning. It's kind of coming full circle, right? You need to get into these rooms with other people, especially like I know our audience is usually around our age, right? Most of the time, it's people around our age, and
Mm-hmm.
we need to get around people who've been there before, right? We need to get around people who've witnessed the crash of 2008, 2007, right? Like we need to be around people who have the game plan, who have the experience, so we can use their experience, right? Get into fill your brain with knowledge and listen to podcasts and get into rooms where people are literally strategizing and talking about bouncing ideas off the wall on how we're going to get through this, right? So you know for sure. So you're as confident as me and Mike are that shit ain't going to change. If anything, this is the time where we're ramping stuff up. Millionaires are made in recessions.
Mm-hmm.
Millionaires and billionaires are made in recessions and crashes, right? So this is the time to get excited. This is the time that we're about to make a lot of freaking money. You know what I'm saying? Like it's time to buy a lot of deals. People are gonna get scared, sell their property, and who's gonna buy them? I know I am. I know
Dude,
I'm
I'm literally talking to buyers, and they're like, the conversation isn't coming up that much
yeah.
with the actual buyers, like the people that we're selling wholesale deals to. Like when I'm talking to them, having conversations with them, they're not too scared. They're still buying deals.
Yep.
Why? Because that's how they put freaking food on the table.
Yep. The show must go on. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're not just gonna stop. It's like in a football game, just because it's raining, we're not gonna stop playing the game. No, we're gonna go out in the field and we're gonna play in the damn rain. We're just gonna run the ball more. You're not gonna pass it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you just need to adjust to what's going on.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro.
In the words of Colleen, you either wake up and be a boss or you be a little bitch.
Oh bitch, straight up. Straight up, bro. Yeah,
Let's
man.
go. Welcome back, bro. Welcome back to Wholesale Hard Knocks.
Let's
Like,
go, man.
if y'all got some value, please hit the like button. hit the subscribe button to me and Daryl's channel. Do all the things. We appreciate y'all. Going forward, Wholesale Hard Knocks will now be on every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. What time your time?
It's 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock Arizona time.
We're probably gonna have like a time change pretty soon, right?
Arizona time don't change, bro. Come on,
Yeah.
dog.
I know Patience said, he's like, yo, y'all are weird. You guys do the fall back or spring forward or whatever the case is, right? So I guess we'll be, I don't know when we'll talk about it later. Once that comes up, we'll be a new time. But for now, 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. AZ time is the new Wholesale Hard Knocks every single Wednesday. So the Saturday shit's dead, just Wednesday. Tell all your homies, tell all your peoples, share this video Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. AZ time. Let's go, baby.
Let's go. We out of here.